Hey everybody, welcome back to Tara's Books and Beyond, and today is the first tag that I'm doing of 2018. This is the BookTube Newbie Tag. Wait, no it's not. Hang on. No, this is not the BookTube Newbie Tag. This is the not a BookTube Newbie Tag. You feel me? This tag is all about retrospection and contemplation and sharing advice with people who are still BookTube newbies, and it was created by Shelby over at Clever Fox. However, I was tagged by Bree from Bree Hill over a year ago. Which, let's face it, is probably going to be the story of pretty much every single tag that I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. So let's get right into it. Question 1 is, how old is your channel? Well, that's easy because it just turned 2 years old some point last week. I am not able to be bothered to look up the official date, but you know, 2 years and change, basically. Question number 2 is, what are your favorite kinds of videos to make? And well, it's quite fitting that I love to make tag videos. Though, to be fair, the reasons I love doing them don't really apply to this video. I love doing tag videos because I get to show off all the books I've read, and specifically, I get to show off books that I normally don't talk about otherwise. In fact, sometimes the books that I'm talking about for a tag question, I've almost completely forgotten about. But then, in my preparation to do the tag, I'll be clambering through all of the books on my shelf, trying to find something that fits, and I find something, and I start flipping through it, and I remember all the thoughts I had, all the opinions I had on it when I first read it. It's really great. It helps me reconnect with books that I read quite a while ago, and I haven't given a second thought to, but now they're fresh in my mind, and I can look back at them and be like, oh yeah, that was a fun book to read. I'm glad I got to share it with you guys. They also motivate me to read more because I don't like giving the same books for every single answer of a similar question in tags. I try to mix things up, and I can't necessarily do that if I've only read so many books. I also find books that I think would fit for a tag video, but because I haven't read them yet, I'm not completely sure. So tag videos do help me to read more varied things so that every time you watch one of my tag videos, it can be something completely different. Question number 3 is, what is a piece of advice that you would give someone who's interested in joining BookTube? And you know, a lot of people for this one, they've said stuff like, don't worry about what you're reading, or don't worry about how often you're putting videos out, and always make sure you're sociable, try and make friends in the community, and that's all very important advice, but like everyone says that, so you can watch anyone else's video and you're gonna get that. Here's my real advice. When you're editing your videos, work backwards. Now, if you're anything like me, your raw footage probably looks like a whole bunch of spurts of you saying stuff, and then between all of that is a whole bunch of blank spaces of silence where you're just awkwardly staring around, trying to figure out what to say next and how to say what you're trying to say properly. So here's a tip. Here's what I like to do, is I go to the end, I find the last chunk of me actually saying something, and I just edit that part out. And then I find all those other chunks and I can chop them off. Because if you're going forwards, you might find a good version and you're going to go edit around all of that. And then you're going to find another good version of that same thing of you saying the same thing. Did that make sense? Anyways, you're gonna go over stuff a whole bunch of different times if you're going from start to finish. If you start at the end, I guarantee you're almost always gonna be looking at your best clip first, and so once you know you have that, you can get rid of all other similar clips. It's really helped me expedite my editing process, even if the video was really long. I think I'm maybe 50% faster. I don't really know how numbers work, and I don't know if I explained that technique good enough for you guys, but I'm sure if you try to put it into practice, then you'll figure out what it means, and then it'll help you just as much as it helped me. Question number 4. Since starting BookTube, have you run into any unforeseen challenges? And the big one for me, and this is more of a general YouTube thing, but it's captioning. Captioning is super important, you guys. Like, it is not talked about nearly as enough in the BookTube community, but like, you gotta caption your videos if you want deaf and hard of hearing people to be able to actually watch you, because not a big surprise, but they also like to read books. Now, I will never stop captioning videos, and as soon as I found out how important it was, I went back and I captioned every single video that I had made so far, so I am really glad that I found out about it early on in BookTube. But that doesn't change the fact that captioning, at least for me, it takes forever. I find it more stressful than the editing. You see the raw footage shrink until it gets to like a 4 or 5 minute long thing, and it's so much easier to deal with. With captioning, you are just going through the whole video, and it takes like 3 to 4 times the length of the video to caption the whole thing, that whole process. But no matter how hard it is, I'm glad I do it because I want my channel to be accessible for anyone who comes across it. Question number 5. Are there any books or series that you have read because of joining BookTube? Now, in a very broad sense, a lot of the stuff that I've read over the past 2 years has been because of BookTube, mainly because BookTube has helped me read so much more over the past 2 years. Now, if you want to narrow it down a bit more, then you can say that I've read a lot more diverse stuff because of BookTube, and I've also read a lot more YA romance. Like, straight up romance, no paranormal, paranormal, no supernatural, no vampires. Okay, maybe a little bit of vampires. But yeah, just strictly romantic stuff. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure I would have come to all of those books at some point, and BookTube just got me there faster. But there are two books that I don't think I would have read unless BookTubers had recommended them to me, and I'm too lazy to pull them out of the bottom of my shelf, so I'm just going to post the pictures. There's We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, and it's a YA book, but it has kind of a weird premise, and it also has a really depressing kind of premise, the kind of thing that I don't think I would have read because I thought I'd be totally miserable the whole way through. Now, several BookTubers have recommended it, but specifically hearing RC from Neck of the Book Lock talk about how great it was so much is what really convinced me to buy it. Although, yes, I know, Dylan, that you love it too, but RC told me first, so he gets the credit. Then we've got Hex by Thomas Oldquavelt, and it's a horror novel, and I love to read horror, but I'm really bad for getting horror outside of Stephen King and Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King. So I don't know if I ever would have come across this book unless it was recommended to me, and I saw it name dropped when I saw Bree Hill reading it. So once again, shout out to Bree Hill for bringing another cool thing into my orbit. So question 6 is, what is your favorite aspect of BookTube? And this one's super easy. It's the communities. I love befriending other BookTubers and seeing what they think of the stuff I read, letting them know what I think of what they read, sharing opinions, getting little in-jokes between the tiny little sub-communities of BookTube. It's such a great big old book club, and that's just radical. Question number 7 says to spread the love and tag a BookTube newbie. However, I'm gonna bend the rules a bit for this one just because this person, they're not a BookTube newbie. Like, they started back in summer 2016. They're only a few months younger than I did on YouTube, but their channel does not have the view count or the subscribers that I think they deserve. So this BookTuber is Danny Does Books. I think she's great. I like her videos. I also like her tagged videos. She made a Heather's book tag that I think is great and I really need to do. It's been on my to-do list forever and I just keep getting really busy, but I swear I'm gonna be doing it really soon, okay? But yeah, Danny Does Books. She's only got 19 subscribers and that's way too low. She definitely deserves for you to check her out, give her some attention because I really think she could be something special. And of course, question number 8 is to tag people. So I will be tagging Shamina from Shamina UK Crawford and Dayton from the first chapter and Chris from Chris Vigilante. So you can check their channels and see if they do this tag because they're also really cool people that you can read books at. Wait, no, that's not what we do. They're all cool people you can watch. What the hell happened back here? So that about wraps it up for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more of my stuff, then you guys know the drill. Check out the links below. And until next time, I'll see you all later. Today is my first tag video of 2018. This is the BookTube nudie tag. Oh, nudie? No, that's even worse.